Hey there. So, have you ever been in France trying to point something out and your brain just short circuits? You're definitely not alone. Trying to say this thing here or that one over there can feel super tricky, but believe it or not, there's a really clear, logical system behind it all. So let's jump right in and get this whole thing sorted out.
Okay, picture this. You're in a little shop in Paris, and you see the perfect tie. But there are two very similar ones right next to each other. How do you say, I want this one, not that one? That exact real-world problem is what we're going to solve today.
All right, the first thing we need to grab from our grammar toolbox is something called a demonstrative adjective. Now, I know that sounds super technical, but it's really not. It's just a word like this or that, which you have to put right in front of a noun. Think of it as the pointer word that always needs a buddy to point at.
And here is the golden rule, the most important thing to remember. In French, this little pointer word has to match the gender and the number of the noun it's pointing to. If you can get that down, everything else we talk about is going to click into place so much easier.
So here are your options, and at first glance they look pretty straightforward. For a singular masculine word, you use ce. For a singular feminine word, you use cet. And for plural, hey, French makes it easy on us. It's just ce for both. But wait a second, what's that cet doing there in the masculine column? Let's figure that out.
So let's see the basic forms in action. For a masculine noun like travail or work, you say ce travail. For a feminine noun like maison or house, you say cette maison. Okay, simple enough, right? Ce, cette, got it. Okay, but here's the curveball. This is where people get tripped up. What if you want to say this friend, and your friend is a guy, so the word is ami? If we just follow the basic rule, we'd say c'est ami, but just try saying that out loud for a second. C'est ami. It's a little awkward, isn't it?
And that's the problem right there. It's a vowel collision. The French language just hates that choppy sound when two vowels crash into each other. It messes up the flow. And thankfully, the language has a really elegant fix for it. And this is it, cet ami. We basically slide that little T sound in there to build a bridge between the two vowel sounds. So instead of that clunky c'est ami, you get cet ami. See? It just flows so much better. It just rolls right off the tongue.
So for a male friend, it's cet ami. For a female friend, it's cet ami. Now, here's the fun part. Listen. Cet ami, cet ami. They sound exactly the same. This is one of those classic French moments where you absolutely have to rely on the context of the conversation to know who you're talking about.
Okay, you've totally got the adjectives down. Now we're ready for the upgrade. Demonstrative pronouns. This is how you're going to stop repeating yourself and start sounding way more natural, way more French.
Just look at the difference here. On the left, saying cette cravate twice is, well, it's repetitive. It's clunky. But look at the right. We replace that second phrase with celle-ci, which literally means this one here. It's cleaner, it's faster, and it's 100% how a native speaker would say it. And that's the job of a demonstrative pronoun. It is a super useful shortcut. Instead of saying this tie or that car over and over again, you just say this one or that one. It's a stand-in for the thing you just mentioned.
So, here are the basic pronouns. And you'll notice something's different from the adjectives. For the plurals, we now have two separate forms. Ce for masculine things and celles for feminine things. But here's the catch. You can't just use these words by themselves. They need a little something extra on the end. And this is the final piece of the puzzle. It's a simple two-step process. First, you pick your pronoun based on gender and number. Then you tack on a suffix. You add ci, which comes from ici, meaning here, to talk about something close by. And you add la, which means there, for something farther away. It's the difference between this one and that one. Okay, enough with the theory. Let's get practical. We're going back to that French shop. You're ready to buy that tie. Let's see how this whole system works in a real conversation.
So the salesperson kicks things off. They point to a whole selection of ties and use that adjective we learned, ces cravates. These ties, perfect. They're pointing out the general group.
But now they need to know which one you want. So they switch to pronouns. They don't say this tie or that tie. They just say celui-ci ou celle-là. This one here or that one there. See how much smoother that is? And you can answer just as elegantly. You point to the one you want and say, je préfère celle-ci. I prefer this one. Boom! The whole exchange is clear, efficient, and sounds perfectly natural.
See? It works like a charm. And this system works from everywhere, not just in a clothing store. Let's do one more quick example to really make this stick. Let's head over to a fruit stand at an outdoor market.
So you start by pointing to the whole pile of apples with an adjective. Ces pommes. The seller picks one up and hands it to you, switching to a pronoun, goûter celle-ci. Taste this one. And then after you've tried it, you give your opinion also with the pronoun. Celle-ci est très bon. This one is very good. It's just a beautiful, natural back and forth.
Phew, we have covered a lot of ground. So let's pull it all together into one final slide. Think of this as your ultimate cheat sheet for demonstratives.
And here it all is, side by side. On the left, you've got your adjectives, the words that go with a noun. And on the right, you have the pronouns, the words that replace the noun. You can really see the logic now, right? The masculine ce and cet become celui. The feminine cette becomes celle. And that one-size-fits-all plural se splits into the masculine ce and the feminine celle. It all connects perfectly.
So, from the boutique to the market, from c'est to celle-ci, you've got the whole system down. The next time you're in France, you're not going to have to just point vaguely and hope they understand. You'll have the exact words you need to say exactly what you mean. So really, the only question left is, what will you choose?